guys, it's Alyssa and I'm back with another video. This one is going to be my top money saving tips. There's not like a certain number or a certain order or anything like that, but I just wanted to give you guys some tips on what I've learned over the years on how to save money. So I hope you guys find them helpful, and without any further ado, let's get on to the video. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to make a quick announcement. This video is going to go up on Tuesday, the 31st, and hopefully you watch it soon, because on Wednesday, August 1st at noon Pacific Standard Time, I am going to have my cash envelopes live on Etsy, and I will include the link to my Etsy in the description. So if you want to get your hands on this first batch that I'm doing, make sure you set your alarm and you're on Etsy at noon Pacific Standard Time. I will make another batch here soon. I want to do that before I start school in 3 weeks, and it'll hopefully be a larger batch. This one will only have about 23 sets of the envelopes, so not everyone will get their hands on them, but I will remake them soon. They're just very time consuming, so it's going to take me a little while. But I just wanted to let you guys know, a lot of you guys have asked me to start selling those, so I am doing that. This first batch will only be North America only, but the next batch I will give international shipping a try, but that was just a little bit too much for me this first round. But so let's get into the video. These are just going to be some of my favorite tips for saving money. Of course, there's a ton more that I'll probably think of after this video, but this was just stuff that I thought of over the last couple weeks. First tip is to see if automatic and paperless billing can save you any money. I did this with my cell phone bill, and I think it saved me about 10 bucks a month, which isn't a ton, but everything counts. So I just enrolled in paperless billing and automatic payments, and I remind myself which day the payment comes out of, so I can put that money back in my account. If you watch my cash envelope stuffing videos, you will know that I take everything out in cash and I just put them back in the bank as my payments come out. So that's what I like to do. Save me a little bit of money, and hopefully it'll save you guys money too. And then on the topic of cell phones, shop around for your cell phone plan. If you're in an area where Sprint, T-Mobile, and AT&T get good service, look into their little like secondary companies. I know for AT&T, Cricket Mobile or Cricket Wireless is their like secondary company, where it's a lot cheaper to have that phone plan, but they use AT&T's towers. So that's a really good way to save money on your cell phone bill. I believe if you want to bring over your own phone, it does have to be like unlocked, and that's the only thing keeping me from switching right now. In the future, when I am able to afford to buy an unlocked iPhone, I'm sorry, I'm an Apple person, guys. When I can afford to buy one for cash, I will do that and probably switch over to Cricket Wireless and save a ton of money on my cell phone bill. So this is obviously not a sponsored video by Cricket Wireless, but I just wanted to let you guys know that there are other options for your cell phone bill. Let's see. Also, for some things like insurance, they will sometimes give you a discount if you pay like every 4 months, every quarter, or every 6 months. Mine personally, when I called, they didn't say that I could get any sort of a discount, probably because I'm on my parents' like multi-car discount, so anything that I would do other than that would cost me more money. But it is worth looking into if your company will let you pay in like a lump sum every 6 months or so, and if that'll give you a discount. And what you would do to save up for that is you would start a sinking fund for like your car insurance, let's say, and you know it's due every 4 months. So you split that amount that'll be due in 4 months into 4, save that amount every month, and you're good to go. You're not scrambling for a couple $100s every 6 months. You've got it saved up as you go along. So that's my tip there. You can save sometimes a lot of money by paying in those lump sums. And my next tip would be to stop buying things that have a reusable alternative. And this tip, if you're a male and you are squeamish about periods, don't listen. But this tip would be to stop buying tampons and use those reusable like cups, the silicone cups. That's what I've been using for years. I absolutely love it. I could not tell you the last time I bought tampons. They're expensive, They're supposedly not very good for your body, and of course they're not good for the environment. But the main reason why I do it is because I'm cheap. So I love them. You can wear them for longer than you can with tampons and not have to worry about toxic shock, which is a thing. And then it's just obviously more cost effective. You can sanitize them just as you would with anything else, and they're perfectly cleanly and safe and fine. If you're a little bit like weird about touching your own body, you might have a problem with it, but other than that, I absolutely love it, and I highly, highly recommend it. I feel like they're super comfortable. They leak a lot less than other products, and you can wear them for longer. So that is a recommendation. Save money, stop buying tampons. Just my personal opinion. On that same note, things like makeup remover or even like cotton pads and like the makeup remover solution, stop buying those. If you watched my Frugal skincare routine video, which I will link below, you will see that I use a method called oil cleansing. So you put like some olive oil, mineral oil. I use jojoba oil currently. You could also use almond oil, any kind of oil really. And you put some of that on your hands, wipe it all over your face. You can wipe all over your eyelashes and your eyebrows and everything, and then use like a towel and wipe it off, and it works just fine. Rewash the towel and you are good to go. You don't have to throw anything, and it honestly is a lot more cost effective. I used mineral oil for a long time. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, and mineral oil is dirt cheap. So I would say do that and ditch those makeup remover wipes that cost a pretty good amount of money. Every little bit counts, guys. Okay, and my next point is to do things yourself if you can. You can learn so many things on YouTube. You can learn how to change your oil, rotate tires, do like minor repairs around the house. So you don't have to call someone out and pay them a bunch of money to do things that you could learn to do yourself. Of course, know your limits. If you feel like you're just going to cost yourself more money by doing this, then don't do it. But if you have some friends with some expertise that could help you, family members, just ask them, especially if you're like a younger person that's trying to be responsible with your money. Like a lot of my viewers are. A lot of times people would love to help someone in our situation save a couple bucks and try and learn a new skill. So just ask someone. You never know who might be willing to help you. So that is a tip that I highly recommend. Another thing that I recommend is bartering for goods or services. So if you have like a talent or an ability, so let's say, for example, you're into photography and you're pretty good at it, you might be able to offer someone like a photography session in exchange for a service like getting your hair cut or cleaning your house or something like that. And that is a good way to save money because all you're really doing in exchange for that service that you would normally pay cash for is donating a little bit of your time and your skill, of course. And, obviously you had to pay for that equipment, but it is a really good way to save money. Those services like getting your haircut can cost a ton. And so if you're able to kind of provide something of value to that person, maybe they'll be willing to work with you a little bit on the price or do like a complete exchange. So that is something that I suggest. The worst that they can do is say no. So it couldn't hurt to just ask someone if they'd be willing to exchange services with you. And sorry, I'm just looking down at my little notes here. This is where I keep all my notes for my YouTube videos. But I really suggest that you learn to enjoy thrift shopping. It can be really fun to hunt through these stores that seem like they're full of junk and find really awesome items. I found a super long, like camel colored coat that I absolutely love. It is so stylish. I got that for probably like $15 at Goodwill, and that coat would have cost hundreds of dollars. It's pure wool. It's super warm and it's gorgeous. And I also got a Coach purse for about $30, and I use that every day. I absolutely love it. I found fossil purses, silk tops, all kinds of awesome stuff, a silk skirt, all at thrift stores, and they're a lot more affordable, especially if you go to one that has like a 50% off day. In my town particularly, I've noticed that's usually Salvation Army. Whenever I go there, I don't know if I'm just lucky, they're like having a 50% off sale on their clothing, and that is amazing. So learn to enjoy thrifting. Just always make sure you're inspecting the clothes for stains, holes, rips, tears, things like that. If it can't be repaired, I usually steer clear of it, but stains are definitely the hardest because obviously those are really hard to get out. That item's been washed probably tons of times and that stain still hasn't come out. So I pass on items that have stains, and I try and inspect everything really thoroughly, but most things, a good wash makes that item perfectly fine to wear, and usually you save so much money on something that would be a lot more expensive in stores. You can pretty much, every time I go to the thrift store, I find something that's designer that would be so much more expensive if it was brand new. So I will definitely be filming thrift hauls in the future for you guys. If you scroll back way down, like my very first video was a thrift haul, and I will definitely make more of those. I just have to put money in my clothing envelope to go clothing shopping for you guys. But I definitely want to do that, and I want to do a capsule wardrobe for you guys, maybe one like every season. I want to start getting into capsule wardrobes, which if you don't know, a capsule wardrobe is just where you take a certain number of key pieces that can be mixed and matched and are like season appropriate, and every season you take out items and put items back in, but they are usually like higher quality, and they just go really well together, and they're like timeless pieces, not a lot of trends basically. So that's why it's called capsule wardrobe. You could put it in a time capsule, take it out in a few years, and it would be stuff that you'd still want to wear. So I want to make a video on that because that I feel like fits in with the theme of my channel, frugal living, budgeting. The less money that you're spending on clothing, obviously the better. So that is stuff that you can look forward to on my channel. I also recommend that you buy things refurbished or used. A lot of times, like with electronics, you can get a refurbished version of the product for a significant discount in the price, but the condition is practically the exact same, and usually most of the time there is the exact same warranty on that item. I know for Apple products, they usually have the exact same warranty on their refurbished items as they do on their brand new, and I know personally I just bought a laptop earlier this month on a Wednesday. They came out with a new version on Thursday, so I took back the one that I got on Wednesday, and that laptop will be sold as refurbished now for a deep discount to someone. And I literally used it for a couple hours. It's in perfect condition. So that's the kind of stuff you can expect to get if you're, buying a refurbished product usually. I've heard some stories of people getting one that was very obviously like pretty heavily used, but usually they're very thoroughly inspected and there's no problems whatsoever, and it's a really good way to save a good chunk of money. And the second to last item on my list is pay cash for everything if possible. There are studies that show that if you pay with cash, it like actually is painful. It triggers like somewhat of a painful response in your brain, whereas swiping your debit card, it has no pain response whatsoever. So it's so much easier to just spend money and have absolutely no clue how much you just spent. I've had this happen with me before. I went to the store with a friend, we walked out, I asked that person, how much did you just spend? No clue, and they paid with a debit card. And I could say almost to the penny how much money I had just spent because I used cash. So use cash for everything. You're way more likely to hold on to your money if you have to like physically see it leave your wallet. So definitely pay cash if at all possible. And then this brings me to my final point, which is basically what this channel is all about, which is get on a written budget. If you are just kind of going along like, oh, I have an idea in my head of what I should spend every month, you're not going to be as successful as someone who's on a written budget. And they take their money every single month and they write down what every single dollar is going to be used for that month, or that paycheck or something. I do mine every 2 weeks because I get paid every 2 weeks, but some people do it monthly or weekly, and that's totally fine as long as you have it written down on paper and you know where every dollar is going. And this also brings me to like part B of this point, which is to make sure you are budgeting for a little bit of fun and things that you know you're gonna have to spend money on. If you don't give yourself any money for clothing or any money for like toiletries or something, you're gonna mess up on your budget because those are things you obviously do need. And you can't tell yourself, I'm never gonna spend any money for fun. I'm only gonna, get gas, get food, and stay at home my whole life. You need to be realistic with yourself and with your goals and make sure that you're budgeting a little bit for fun. That way you don't feel bad. I know if I'm ever like super restrictive with myself, whether it be with like a diet or my time management or budgeting, if I'm super restrictive, I will go off the deep end and it doesn't take me very long. So having a little bit every month in my envelope specifically to just spend on what I want, it really helps me feel like I'm not being super restricted. I'm still able to reach my goals without like killing myself and not living my life. So I really suggest that if you have that money in your budget, just give yourself something as like an allowance, spending money, and make sure you are budgeting for things that you as a human being will need, like clothing and toiletries and things like that. So that is it for this video. In the future, I want to make a video about like frugal date ideas. I was going to try and work some of that into my top money saving tips, but I feel like that should be a separate video. So look out for that. I definitely want to make a video about really fun date ideas, and maybe I'll just try some out first with my boyfriend and see how they go. And then I will let you guys know, because obviously you really don't need to spend a ton of money to have a great date, especially if you're with the right person. Pretty much everything can be fun. But so that is what you can look forward to. If you're not already subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. And if you want a notification on when I post a new video, make sure you turn the little notification bell on. Otherwise, you might not see when I upload. But you can also follow me on Instagram. I post on my story all the time. And I post updates like the cash envelopes and everything like that. So that's the best place to get like a real-time update on what's going on with my channel and with my Etsy and everything. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.